Welcome back. We're going to get it started now. Now, I personally love libraries, so I'm delighted to welcome our librarians, Kristen Anderson and Melissa Kahili-Heede from the JABSOM Health Sciences Library. And a major responsibility they have is helping folks find accurate information about medical issues. So they're going to talk briefly about that topic, then offer a hands-on opportunity over in the computer labs. And their presentation is slightly different than what was an earlier one that was printed, but if you need any information on that, I'll give it to you. So please welcome our very special JABSOM librarians.
Oh, it's good to be called very special. Thank you. So I really have nothing to do here except to tell you that I'm the director of the library. And I do hope that you have time to come over after this session. If you want, we can help you with a search, or you could just take a tour of the library. We've been partnering with the anatomy department, so we have some kind of fun stuff and interesting things going on. So please come over if you'd like to. And otherwise, I'm just going to make my colleague, Melissa, do all the work. So.
Hi, everyone. So thanks again for having us today. This is the second time we've done this session, and it's exciting for us. As librarians, it's our job to help people navigate this sometimes overwhelming amount of information online. So hopefully we can clear up some questions and give you some tools that you can take home to use. Okay. I'm going to go over evaluating online health information, so how you go about doing that. And next, we'll talk a little bit about actually finding health information online. And then using health information, that'll just kind of be a really brief point at the end. And then we like to give this disclaimer. So, you know, even though you're going to be learning how to find your own health information online, it doesn't replace the advice of an actual medical doctor. So this is more about just empowering you to find the information you need to go to your doctor with that information. Okay. So more and more people today are going online. They're finding their own, finding information about their own health issues. So 7 in 10 Americans today are going online. They're finding information. So it used to be that the doctors had control of all of this information. They were the ones who had access to the journals. They were the ones, it was much more doctor-centered, and today we're moving more towards a patient-centered type of care. So it's expected that you take some sort of role into knowing more about your own conditions and going through the ways of answering your own questions. So with online information, you have a world of information at your fingers, and you can do that now today. So the social life of information, this is something more recent that I like to bring up, because what this means is that how many of you have mobile phones with you now? Probably all of you. Okay. You can access, you can get onto the internet on your phone. How many of you are doing social media? You're doing Facebook, maybe fewer? Okay. But so with the social life of information, you're experiencing information in a different way. So if you say you have a Facebook page and you're keeping in touch with family that way, a lot of people will post information about a health issue, and we tend to maybe just believe it. And you don't want to not believe your own family member, but it's good to just be a skeptic and always question the information that you're coming across. So, and this is just to say that social media is even changing the way that we are confronted with information now. So 16% of respondents say they went online to find others who share the same experience. So we see people who are looking for connections. People, maybe they're going through, chemotherapy. They're looking for some sort of way to connect with other people who are going through the same experience, and we can do that online very easily now. But with that comes more added responsibility to use information more responsibly. and to question. So 31% of respondents say they use their mobile device to look up health information. And I'm sure that number is just going to keep growing and growing. So health information on the internet, there is high quality health information freely available to you, but there's also inaccurate and misleading health information. So how do you tell the difference? Okay. So there is a handout outside with an abbreviated version of this little checklist that we'll go through, and then you do have this in your binders as well. But so the first step is to consider the source. So who's responsible for the content? Is there an About Us page? Let's see, what do they want from you? Can you tell does this website want something from you? Are they going to collect your information? And do they have a privacy policy statement on their website now? That's more and more important today also. The next thing is to focus on quality. So is the information on the website written by an expert? Is it written by somebody who's just talking about their own personal experience? And then how is that information, how has it been approved? Did it have to go through a board of editors in order to be put up onto the website, or is it a blog and someone just posted that information themselves? And then finally, look for the evidence. So is there a citation to what's being said? Is it referenced? Can you see, if someone's making a claim about a medication and its efficacy, is there a citation to the study where they were able to prove that that medication was useful, helpful? And then does the information provided on the site rely on research, or again, is it someone's opinion? And so next, we check for currency. So all that means is there a date somewhere on the page? A lot of the websites I'm going to show you today that are great places to look for information, they tell you the last time that page was updated. So for cancer information, the more recent, the better, of course. So we learn more and more about cancer every day, so we want to see a more current date. For something like anatomy, a lot of our medical students have to look up anatomy information. Our anatomy hasn't changed much, so the older information is probably okay. And then, are the links working? That's another important thing. If you're hitting a lot of dead links on a website, someone's not maintaining it, and there's probably a better place to look for that information. And next, we want to be aware of bias, and what we mean by that is asking, why was the site created? Are they trying to sell me something? Who's paying for the site? Can you tell who the sponsors of that information, who they are? And I have a good example of that I'm going to show you today. And then finally, check the URL. This, for me, is the quickest way of deciding whether or not I want to look at a website. So if it's from an institution of higher learning, it'll end in a .edu. So JABSOM's website ends in .edu. A lot of medical clinics, if they're associated with a teaching hospital, so UCSF, it'll end in a .edu. And then a .gov.gov website means it's being sponsored by the government, so the National Institutes of Health, that would be an example of a government website. And .org, so those are organizations that are not-for-profit. So Mayo Clinic, which we'll look at, that's one example of a .org. And then the .com, these are the ones that I try to avoid if I'm looking for health information. So it's a commercial website, and it's one of those sites that anybody can put up. Okay. So this is, it says don't be misled at the top, but if you look at this, what would you think about this website? I Googled chemotherapy side effects, so I wanted to find some information. So it looks like it's not too bad, but it is a .com. And if we start exploring a little bit further, so I did this search just the other day, and their website says 2016, so it hasn't been updated in a couple years, going on 3 years probably. We're close to 2019. So, another clue that it's probably not the best. And then this, so I was looking for an About Us page. I couldn't really find one, but there was a Contact Us. So that's another good thing to look for. But then I noticed it says Amgen, and it said Amgen back here. Does anyone know what Amgen is? Yeah, they're a pharmaceutical company. So right away, I'm just like, okay, they're trying to sell me something. So when I started poking a little bit further down, if you click on this Learn More link, they take you to Neulasta. So, I think the information that they're giving you, it is not necessarily to say that it's wrong, but they have an agenda. And I could find this same information on the American Cancer Society's website and feel better about what I'm reading. So that's our bad example. And then I'm going to jump into our recommended websites, and a couple of them, one of them might be missing from the PowerPoint since we made some last-minute updates, but feel free to write down the, I'll read out what the URL, the web address is. So this is Medline Plus. It's sponsored by the National Library of Medicine and the National Institutes of Health. So this is a great place to go. It's worded in such a way that it's easy for a consumer to read. You don't need to have a medical background. And there's a ton of information. I like to use this navigation on the left-hand side you can click on health topics and you'll just see a long list of things. The other thing I like to do is, it didn't go. There's a search bar in the upper right-hand corner of the website. So rather than going to Google and Googling what your health question is, you could go to a website that you trust and look up the information there. This Medline Plus is really good about pulling in a lot of additional information from other government websites that we trust also. And then at the very bottom, the web address is there for you to look it up on your own. So it features a medical encyclopedia, information about drugs, supplements, and lab test information. If you need help interpreting your lab results, there's information here to help you with that. And then this next one is the Mayo Clinic. So this is that nonprofit academic institution I was talking about. So it ends in .org, and this is a website that usually, if I Google a certain topic, Mayo Clinic is often at the top of the results list. It's a great website to go to. They have a lot of information. If you just need information on your cold, it's a good website to look at. So there's a lot of guides on diseases, conditions, symptom checkers. So rather than going to Webmd, which has a similar symptom checker, Mayo Clinic might be a better choice. And then I like to use this navigation down in the center of the page. Or again, there is a search bar up at the very top of their page. And then next, this is the National Institutes on Aging. So this is funded by the National Institutes of Health. This is a government website. And they specialize in Alzheimer's research. So again, I would use their search bar up at the right-hand side to look for the specific question that I had. And you're going to find a lot of additional information about cognitive health, exercise and physical activity, and then their information tends to come in easy-to-read format as well. And then again, the web address is down there at the bottom. Okay. And then this is the National Cancer Institute. So this would be my go-to if I was looking for information on cancer. So that previous example we had of chemotherapy.com, this would be a better alternative to that. So they have all of this great information on the side effects of chemotherapy, and this is from a website that I would trust. So you will find a lot of information about all different types of cancer, information on different clinical trials that are going on, and then there's also videos, I believe, in this one. But it's, again, easy to navigate. So I would use the top toolbar of the website, and there's a search there, and then also all of these various links about cancer, cancer types, and the current research that's going on. So this is one that isn't in the handout, but if you write this down, it's NAMI.org, and this is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So they're the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization. So this is a .org website. But the great thing about this one is that there's 24/7 online support, there's phone numbers to call, and information for you if you're taking care of a loved one who might have a mental illness, or information for you yourself if you have questions about your mental health. So, and then there's online discussion groups. So this is one of those good ways of using social information, and it's being hosted by a website. So rather than going on someone's blog, they can post their own information. This is being, mediated by an organization. So you can still find people that are going through the same or having the same experiences, but in a format that we can trust. Okay. Oh, and then again, so I would use the upper part of the website to navigate there, and if you could type your question into the search bar there. Okay. So this is just a list of additional websites. So these are websites that the Medical Library Association recommends, and this is our professional organization. So I won't name off every single one of them, but we have it sectioned out by general health, breast cancer, diabetes, eye disease, heart disease, HIV, strokes. So there's a number of different sites there. And then what I have down at the bottom, it's a little hard to read here, view complete list. So you could type in that URL and it would take you to the entire list of those recommended websites. So basically today I'm recommending that rather than just going to Google and typing in something and it's going to return a million results to you, you could start from a website that you trust and then use their search bar to find that information on the website. Okay, so this came up the last time we did this presentation, and I thought it was a really great question, was what about WebMD and what about Wikipedia? Can I go to those? Is that something that I can trust? And WebMD, they do rely on ad dollars. They do have an editorial board, though, and I don't think that the content on that website is necessarily wrong, but I do think that you have better options. So something like Medline Plus or Mayo Clinic would be a better place to go to than WebMD. I think the problem with WebMD, when you Google a question, a health question, it's one of those results that tends to be at the top of the list, and that's because they can pay to put themselves there. And then with Wikipedia, it is something that can be edited by anyone, but I believe with Wikipedia there's good information, there's bad information there. They're really good at citing where the information comes from, so it would just be a matter of questioning it, but looking at where did the information come from. So what is the citation that they're talking, who said this first? So just to be skeptical if you use either of them. And then, so this is kind of the last part where we want to mention the Hawaii State Public Library System. They have a lot of great online health databases. So I do have a video to show you how to access it. But basically they have, there's these 3 different Health Source, Health and Wellness Resource Center, Consumer Health Complete. Those are databases that you can access through the Hawaii State Public Library System. And then there's also 2 other databases on alternative medicine. So I think with alternative medicines, it's a little bit fuzzy. You can't really, I don't think there are necessarily exact answers on a lot of it. It needs more study. But going through a database like one of these 2 is probably better than Googling the information. What are the benefits of turmeric? And you're going to get a ton of results on Google. But this will give you something a little bit more focused. Yes. So if you have a public library card, there's a barcode, and I'll show you what the login screen looks like. But basically, your library card, Hawaii State Public Library card, has a barcode, and then there are numbers underneath it. So to access this information, you can access it from home. You would type in your barcode, and then it asks for a PIN, which is the last 4 digits of your phone number. That's what they set it up to be by default. So the video is showing you the steps I go through to get to these websites. I think that's something or to how to get to the databases. they're buried in the Hawaii State Public Library System website. So hopefully, thank you.
Hi there, this is a tutorial for the Hawaii State Public Library databases. This is how to access the online databases through the state public system. So I'm going to start from Google. I'm going to navigate to the library's homepage. So I'm going to just search for the Hawaii State Public Library. It's the first option. And then to find the databases, they have quick links towards the bottom of their page, and I'm going to click on Search Databases. So next, they present you with a long list of all the different databases that they have, but if you aren't sure which one to click on, we can search by topic. So I'm going to click on Search by Topic, and we want to see the databases that are good for health. What are the health-related databases? So I'm going to click on Health. And now I can see there are 5 different databases that they've said are good for finding health-related information. So I'm going to choose this Health and Wellness Resource Center. And now I can see it's good for the general public. It has reference articles, magazines, journal articles, and more importantly, it says that I can access this database anywhere where I have an internet connection. So you can access these databases from home. So I'm going to log in. And it's important to note that the login for your Hawaii State Public Library databases is going to be the barcode that's listed on your library card, and then your PIN number by default is the last 4 digits of your phone number unless you've set it to something else. So I'm in the database, and since this is the end of Mental Health Week, we can go ahead and let's look for some topics on dementia. And for fun, we can look for dementia, and we want to see what kind of brain exercises there are. So dementia, so what I'm doing is I'm telling the database that I want to find information related to dementia and brain exercises. Okay, so I have a reference article at the top from the Gale Encyclopedia of Fitness, and then I have magazine articles, videos, so lots of great information here. And let's see, I'm looking for an article that actually tells me some activities that I can do, some mental activities for the brain. So this 4 brain exercises to increase processing speed. So I'm going to look at this. That sounds interesting. So I can click on the title and I can actually listen to the article, or I can go ahead and read through it. So if we just kind of peruse through this article very quickly, we can see down at the bottom they do list some websites to go to for brain exercises. So great information. Thanks.
Okay, so in the video, it bypassed my login screen. I was already logged in, but this is what that login screen would look like here. So there's a screenshot of that. There's a place for your library card number, so the number under the barcode, and then that PIN. So these are great databases that anybody can access. It's just trying to find them on their website can be a little hard. So hopefully that helps, can help you navigate to their website better. Okay, so just to kind of wrap up, it's easy to run a Google search, but rather than doing the Google search, maybe starting from a website that we trust, some of our recommended websites, and using their search bar can help you find better information, more targeted information. And, you know, a lot of people are searching online today. So we'll just remember today to check the websites we're looking at for accuracy, to see if there's biases. You can refer to that different list of questions whenever you get to something and you're unsure. And then, you know, we encourage you to try the Hawaii State Public Library databases as well. and then to come and visit us. So we're open to the public Monday through Friday, and we can help you with your health questions too. There's handouts out front. There's a few handouts if anyone's interested. And yes, okay. Questions?